All right, bless me, knitters. It has been almost 2 years since my last podcast, and a lot has happened. I got a lot to catch you up on. If you're new here, my name is Darcy. I am a knitter, a podcaster, a knitwear designer, a speech pathologist, a wife, and now I'm a mom to an incredible little boy named Owen, who is almost a year old. I can't believe he's almost a year old. That's crazy. And he is hopefully having a very restful, very long nap. And I think that is the case. He is sleeping right now. So we have a lot to catch up on. So, yeah, I guess I'll just start with the biggest news. I was pregnant and I had a baby. Um, I had a very difficult first part of the pregnancy. I had hyperemesis and I was in hospital for a while. Um, and I got a lot of medicine to help me not throw up constantly. Thank you to the people who created the Zofran. Y'all really, y'all really did a good deed with that one. Let me just make sure my watch is not about to die. All right. So, yeah, Owen was born on September 6th, 2024. And yeah, also shout out to the people who created the epidural. A plus on that one. Definitely highly recommend that. If you want to hear more about this, leave me some questions in the comments and I'll talk about it in subsequent podcasts. But I've been meaning to do this podcast for so long and wanting to do it and wanting to do it. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't have time. And that's just not true that I don't have time. I have to make the time for what's important. And this is important to me. And now that so much of my life revolves around somebody else who's always telling me what to do, aka Owen, um, I still have to do things that I like and things that are important to me. And this was a big part of um, what I was doing before he arrived and kind of derailed the podcast train. But we're getting back on, and I'm not gonna tell y'all I'm gonna do this every, you know, such and such weeks or every, I'm just gonna tell y'all I'm gonna do my best, and that's all I can promise to do. So, other than Owen being born, we moved to a different house, and now still unpacking, trying to get things situated, and yeah, lots of changes so far. So if you have questions about that, leave me some comments. I'm going to get to the knitting because I have been knitting and I haven't been posting a ton on Instagram about my knitting. But if you want to see what I've been posting over there, you can follow me on Instagram. Darcy Does It, DARCI Does It on Instagram. And let's get straight to it. And I have some notes here so that I don't forget what to talk about. So I've got my trusty bag, and let's start with the first thing that I knit. When I found out that I was pregnant, and I've got like sticky little stickers I peeled off of everything, I started knitting this little elephant lovey for Owen. Okay, I decided to just go front facing so that I can actually see what I'm showing you because I don't want to be recording the whole thing and then you can't actually ever see it. So this is the little lovey that I knit for Owen, and it has little yarn eyes and a little trunk. How cute. And I did not find out the gender of the baby until the birth. So I knit it in this kind of gray, blue, neutral. And I'm going to add the name of the pattern to the screen. I knit this from a book of baby patterns that I got from the library many years ago, and I have like baby file in all of my knitting organizations so that I can remember what stuff I want to knit for a baby when I have one. And this was like at the top of the list. Look how cute the little ears are. It's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down. So yeah, I knit this, and this is with a one skein ball of DK weight yarn that I had, and he hasn't actually ever like used it because of the SIDS you know, suggestions that you don't give anything in the crib until they get to a year old. So this is what Owen will be getting for his first birthday from me, even though I knit it a long time ago. Okay, the next thing I knit for Owen, I actually can't find, but oh no, why am I lying? It's right here. So I knit this little, how cute. It's a little flax sweater, and I knit it in this yarn that is called newsprint. And this is a yarn from my honeymoon. That's so long ago. I've had this yarn for so long, and I didn't know what would be the right project for it, but I made a little hat to go with it, and I didn't weave in the ends. In the hat, I just tucked them in when he wore it, the like one time that he wore it, and I'll put a picture of him wearing it. But yeah, this little set was from one skein of fingering weight yarn, and on my honeymoon in 2017, almost 10 years ago, I guess it's 8 years ago now, I picked out this yarn, and I didn't know what it would be, but this is what it is. Oh no, Felix is calling. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Fucking Wayfair. All right, I'll just do an aside on that. I bought a shoe bench that had cabinet doors on it that you sit on, put the shoes under, and I looked at a lot of benches. I decided on this one. It finally got here, and then it's got the California Proposition 65 warning on it. So if you don't know what that is, it's a law in California that they have to label if it has cancer or reproductive causing harm chemicals inside of it. That was not listed on the Wayfair website. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna keep this because who wants that? So they're like, okay, yeah, just leave it out on the porch and the driver will come pick it up. Well, the driver just came, y'all heard the doorbell. And then Saucy barking. She didn't wake Owen up, thankfully, but he's like, yeah, there's no label. And I'm like, they just told me to put it outside. He's like, oh, well, they didn't send me with a label. Meanwhile, he got his black and mild smoking. And I'm just like, so what am I supposed to do? Oh, well, they were supposed to give you a label. Well, they said you were going to bring a label. Oh, well, I don't know. Okay, fuck y'all. Let me just say that. Anyway, back to the knitting. Let me add some water. So now I gotta deal with that later. Anywho, this was the little flax sweater. I think this was the 3-month size that I made. And I also knit another one that I can't find, but I'm gonna put a picture, and I put Owen in a little set. And I thought that that was so cute. It was really big, so I think he'll probably still be able to wear that for next year. Now, Owen was born at a regular size. He was born 7 pounds, 11 ounces. And then he has been like in the 95th, 98th percentile. So now he's almost 1 year old, but he's wearing 24-month or like 2T clothes. So he's 27 pounds, and he is, you know, really growing out of everything that I make really fast. So I'm trying to make stuff really big. And I started knitting this one before I realized that he was going to be a mammoth child. So that one didn't get a lot of use, but maybe I'll knit him a little bear or something. He can put it on the bear. So the next thing I'm going to show you is this little baby bear balaclava that I knit him. And this will still fit for this year. He did get to wear it a little bit over the winter months, but it was still really kind of baggy. And this is knit in the color Muzz Pies from Seismic Yarn, which was a special yarn that she made for Fiber and Color when I was doing that. And this is just the cutest little knit set. I knit this one, and then I knit another one for one of my friend's daughters in pink, because I was like, this just has to be made in pink. So I'll put a picture of that. And yeah, I just love this pattern. When I knit it, I was a little bit lazy on the first one that I made, and I did not use the Kitchener stitch to kitchen it together or fasten it together, whatever. I just used the 3-needle bind off, and I'm not unhappy with the 3-needle bind off. It looks very neat, but on the one that I gave to my friend's daughter, it did have the Kitchener stitch, and it just is seamless, you know, across the back. So I think that probably would be more comfortable to wear if you're like laying down. But now Owen is, you know, standing up, so he's not going to be laying down with this on. To go with this, I made Artie a little, this is from the Pom Pom. See, I have so much stuff in this bag that I didn't write down. What was the other thing? I didn't anticipate my brain permanently changing and being disorganized. My cognitive abilities to really be so affected by pregnancy. That's something nobody told me. So yeah, y'all could have mentioned that. But this hat, I'm gonna put the pattern name. I knit this from the not Wool and Pine, the Moon and Turtle pattern book. And this is a 2-sided hat. So this is the same color, Mosmel Pies, and the mohair made like some little stripes, and I still need to block it, but it's really cute, and pull it out like that so you can see it. I just love this, and it looks so nice on Artie, and him and Owen together with their little matching hats. It's gonna be so cute this winter. So that's another one that I have knit. Some other sad news. The last podcast episode, I was showing the little gemstones shawl that I was making for my grandmother. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw this news, but my grandmother loved the shawl, and she treasured it, and she passed away in April of this year. And I did get the shawl back from her estate, and it was packed in a bag to keep it safe, and now it's something that I will treasure and remember her by. But let me show you the size of it, because it's pretty big. So this is, I have it upside down. This is the finished shawl, and it is really, really big. So, am I showing y'all? I'm showing y'all the wrong side. This is the right side. I have it upside down, and I'm showing you the wrong side. Okay, I'll just hold it like this. This is the center. But yeah, unfortunately, she did pass away. She was 101 years old. And she had a fall that she never recovered from, and then she went on to glory. But she did love this shawl a lot, and now it'll be treasured by me, and I'll take very good care of it as she did, and I'll always remember her when I wear it, and remember how much she treasured it. So that's the whole thing. And this is the Little Gemstones. Little Gemstones is the name of this pattern. Okay, and let's keep the train, keep it going, keep it moving. Okay. All right, the next thing I have is my sorrel sweater. And I started this sweater when I was pregnant, and I just completely lost like my knitting mojo when I was pregnant. And it was just, it was just very difficult for me to get into a knitting project and like sit down and focus on it. So I just didn't get a lot done when I was pregnant. But I've really recovered my knitting mojo with a lot of fury. This was knit with the purple mohair from Passion Knits and a bunch of other single skeins that I had. And I'll show some pictures of the in-betweens and the skeins that I used to make this in case you want to make something similar. But this was my fifth sorrel sweater, I believe. And the sleeves on this one are just straight sleeves. So that's what I always do, is like a different sleeve to feel like it's a different sweater. But yeah, I finally was able to finish this one after I gave birth and my brain started working a little better. But like I said, still not totally recovered. All right, and I knit this sweater, that sorrel, as a make along with Felina Knits and with Ein from Passion Knits. And they also made sorrel sweaters, and they finished theirs eons before me. So I was the last one to finish, but we all made purple sorrel sweaters. The next thing I knit for myself is the Extra Light Bright sweater. And this is a woolen pine pattern also. And I used yarns that I already had wound up for this, and they were all yarns that I had already used part of the skein. So this was a real like scrappy project for me. And I ended up making the neckline a lot more shallow than the pattern suggested, because I don't tend to like a big open neck unless it's, I don't know. I don't like when knitwear has big open necks, because I feel like it's already kind of precarious. I want to, make sure it's taken care of and not like falling off of me or getting snagged on something. So I did a much smaller neckline, and as you can see, I have not woven in the ends on this, but in due time that will happen. And I also took a lot of liberties with the fading instructions on this, and I had a lot less yarn than the instructions suggested, so I had to kind of take some liberties on that. And I'll show you my floats on the inside, and they're not the best floats that I've ever done, but they'll do. And this was the first sweater that I cast on after Owen was born. So I just kind of needed to get back into the swing of, knitting. And that's why I used skeins that I already had, because I was like, I need to just make this as easy an entry as possible. It hasn't been blocked yet. So I'm going to weave the ends in on this and then block it eventually. But it just hasn't happened yet. I did knit in all the ends as I went, so the only ends that are left are the ones from the very, very end, on the sleeves and on the body on that. Okay, the next thing I knit. Yeah, I did a lot of knitting. Well, it's been 2 years, so for 2 years, I guess this isn't a ton of knitting, but it's a lot for me. So the next thing is so cute. Are you ready? It's a little suit, a little like, I guess, sleeper suit, I guess it would be called. And this is a pattern that I saw on Etsy, and I will link what the pattern is and put it on the screen. This pattern is a 3x1 rib, so it isn't that much purling, and y'all know I'm a anti-purl girl. So I actually hacked it to knit the front. The front's supposed to be knit back and forth, but that means that there's like an equal amount of ribbing and purling. So I steeked part of this, and I'm just unbuttoning the bajillion buttons that are on here to show you the inside of where I steeked. And I have sewn up one side, but I didn't sew up the other side, just so that I could show you how it looks. So this side is the side that I have not steeked, but I did sew it down with my sewing machine, so the ends are not gonna come loose. And then this side is the side that I sewed up, and it is nice and, you know, nice and neat. So the other side will look just like this when I get finished with it. But how beautiful is this yarn? This is some yarn from Passion Knits that Ein over dyed for me. And this is a sport weight. It took 3 full skeins of yarn for this project, and I still had to this is how much I had left. I still just barely made it, and one of the legs might be a little shorter than the other one. And if that's the case, then we're gonna put some long socks on Owen. This is the 3T size, and I haven't put it on him recently. I think that this will fit for winter, but this is something I imagined would be good to put on him, if we're gonna go for a walk, just on top of his clothes. But thankfully we won't have to actually undo every single one of these buttons to get it on him. I think if we just undo the first few, that'll be sufficient to get it on him. But it's pretty big for now, and I think it'll be perfect for this spring. But this was a true labor of love, and I do absolutely love how this came out. And the yarn, I mean, it was just such a pleasure to knit this, and I haven't made any mistakes that I know of, but I thought that this would just be perfect. And he has blue eyes, so when he wears blue, his eyes look really very blue. And just one more detail about the buttons, I sewed these on with some little purple thread, and I just thought that was such a nice little detail to have those buttons on there with the purple. So hopefully this is a family heirloom, and Owen can cherish this, and yeah, it'll be in the family for a long time. So that's that. I have 2 more finished objects, and then I am gonna get into my, I won't say whips, but I'll say my future desires of knitting. So the next project is this ripple halter, and this is the second one of these that I made, and it is knit in a color from Machete Shop called Rainbow Charred. And this was a skein of yarn that my bestie Ijama brought back from Amsterdam for me several years ago. And I said, the time is now. I just needed a project that would help me to just get into a rhythm. And with this ribbing, I really felt a rhythm with this, and it was something I could put down and come back to now that I'm having my knitting constantly interrupted. I need projects that don't have big charts or repeats, or something that is gonna be difficult to put down in the middle of a row and come back to it. So this was an excellent project for that. It's a 1 skein knit in the size I made it. I think I made the size 38 or so, but this is a Jessie May pattern. And the first one that I made last year, no, not last year, 2 years or 3 years ago, was with some Lola Beam yak silk yarn, and this one is just, I think, a 75-25 blend. Oh no, is that on? No, he's still sleeping. It was a yak silk blend, and I thought that was really nice, but it is kind of it just gets kind of looser. I think because of the silk, it's more like relaxed and drapey, whereas this I think will be more like kind of like cling to your body, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't worn this yet. I haven't weaved in the ends yet, but in due time. Oh no. He's up. I gotta go get my baby, y'all. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, my assistant has made it onto the scene, and he is reviewing my notes here. Okay, you're gonna tell him what I missed? Okay, you just pointing to everything. Got it. Okay, cutie pie. All right, he's also encouraging me to put everything back in the bag, or he's gonna throw it across the room. Okay, let me put you right here while I pack up this bag. You want to look at your Cheerios book? Ooh, Owen's a book boy. All right, I'm gonna try to pack up really quick before he before he tears everything up. Okay. All right, one more thing. I found this hat in the bottom of the bag, and it has a sweater that goes to it, and I mentioned it earlier. This is a Passion Knits yarn that I got. I think I had 2 of these, and I made another flax pattern, the sweater, like the newsprint one, but this is a DK version. And let me just highly recommend the Tin Can Knits app, because those people over there, they're doing the Lord's work. They got an app where you pick whatever, what's it called? It's not called thickness, it's called weight. Whatever weight yarn you want to knit that sweater in, and then you put it in that app, and then they spit out the pattern at you without any of the other sizes there. You don't have to look at anything except what you need. And this was just a freehand kind of hat that I made from that, but the pattern for the sweater that matches this was made on their app. All right, now my assistant is reminding me to show you the pattern for my last finished object, which is the Plumatis sweater. And I had a false start on this pattern several years ago, and the problem I was having is that I did not read carefully enough the pattern, and I was doing the right number of decreases but not the right number of increases. So as I was going around, the sweater was just shrinking, and I was like, something's not right here. I cut the yarn, and I don't know what happened to the little bit that I started, but let me show you the finished, actually like perfect version of this. It hasn't been blocked yet, so just imagine the perfection that is on the way. So this is a knit with single strand mohair for the body of the sweater, and then the cuff and the bottom of the body, and this super cute collar is knit in fingering weight yarn. And it just has kind of like a baby doll kind of look here. And then the back has a keyhole opening where I just used part of the collar ruffle as my buttonhole. I didn't create a separate buttonhole. Okay, he's taking everything I put in the bag back out of the bag. Okay, let's get you a snack, buddy. Okay, those Cheerios may have bought me a few more minutes to try to finish this up. All right, so the keyhole back is just held by this vintage button, and this was one of my grandmother's buttons, and I know that she would have loved this sweater if she was here to see it. But I'm gonna continue crafting and remembering her. All right, so this has not been blocked yet, but let me tell you about some of my trials and tribulations with this sweater. You start at the bottom, you knit up to the armhole. Then you split for the front and back, and I started knitting the left front on the right front. Exactly. And then that created some weird shaping, and I just kept going because I was like, you know what, it was just a little shaping, and I'm glad I kept going because it doesn't seem to have created any like long-term real problems, but there is a little bit of a strange like little puckering here. I don't know, can you see? If I didn't point it out, you wouldn't be able to see it, but see how it almost comes to a point here? That's where we have gone awry, but that'll block out, huh? Then I made another mistake with the collar where you knit this I-cord around the neckline to give the collar something stable to hold on to, basically, and then you pick up the stitches on the neckline. Well, I started knitting the collar without the I-cord, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go back, and I actually did rip that back, and that was funny, yeah. I did rip that back, and it started over, but I was just maybe like 5 or 6 rows in. So this has been on my docket for a long time, and after that first false start, I was so disheartened by the way that I messed it up. But I did finally come back to it and get it together, and what a magnificent sweater this is. This sweater is from the from an issue of Pom Pom magazine that I bought many years ago. Let me see. Oh, and what did you do with the pattern? He's not telling. Okay, well, oh, here it is. All right. Hey, babe. Okay, yes, that's the sweater. That's not the pattern. This is the pattern, see? All right, so this is by Julie Dubrow, and it doesn't say what issue Pom Pom this is from, but the sample here is knit in yellow, and the other sample is knit in blue. And I will just say the schematic on this wasn't very helpful in really determining like what shape the shaping was supposed to be, because you see the schematic just makes it look very round, and in the end it looks very round, but in the real life, when you're decreasing for the shaping on the body, it's not round like that. So especially if you knit the left front on the right front, and then you're trying to figure out how big of a colossal mistake that is, this schematic was not really very helpful. So I would just say knitting from a magazine pattern is very different from knitting, let's say, like a Jessie May quality or a Woolen Pine quality pattern that's just like a one-off pattern. The magazine patterns are so brief that you really have to be able to read them very carefully and make sure that you're not making any mistakes, or there's not kind of another note there to intervene on you. Exactly. To keep you from messing up again. So, did you want to say something? Okay. You heard it here first. So, that is all of the finished objects I have to show. There is one more finished object that I am going to show a picture of, and I'm going to just talk about it a little bit. In my last podcast, I was finishing up, well, since you're here, I guess let's just get you on camera. In my last podcast, I was finishing up the Oceanside sweater, and the Oceanside sweater is another magazine pattern that was from a Vogue knitting magazine. And the pattern on that one, yeah, Saucy, clean up all these Cheerios, please. Uh-oh, you took a tumble, buddy. Oh, now you want to eat the Cheerios off the floor with Saucy. Okay. So, what was that thing called? Oceanside sweater. You got dog hair on you. The Oceanside sweater was a very stripy pattern that had several, I would say neutral colors in a row, and then it had several rows of striping that alternated. I'll just show you the picture of what it looked like. And I decided, like a person who really doesn't want any peace in life, I decided to knit it with, I think, like 24 different colors or 27 different colors. I'm never doing that again, let me tell you. So I did finish the sweater, and it's knit from the bottom up, and it has kind of a boxy shape to it, and I don't know that I even have any pictures of myself trying it on, but I was not happy with the fit of the shoulders because it had a lot of I'll say like extra, just like sagginess, puffiness around the shoulders. Like it needed like some shoulder pads or something in it, and I don't want that. So what I actually decided to do was to sew a piece of elastic in the shoulder seam to scrunch that shoulder together. And I haven't done that yet, but I also haven't found the sweater since we moved, so I don't know where it is. As you can see, I'm making great use of all my yarn. This isn't all my yarn, but great use of a lot of my yarn as a barrier for Owen to keep him kind of in this area until we're able to baby proof the rest of the house. And if somebody ever tells you that your yarn, you know, you're not using it, there's so many ways to use it, and this is one way that I'm currently using it. You a Cheerio boy? So the Oceanside sweater is finally finished, but I can't find it, and I still need to fix that shoulder before I would actually wear it. All right, I'm gonna come back at a later time and tell you about what I'm dreaming of knitting. I think it's gonna have to be at a time where Owen is sleeping again, because I'm a little distracted and he's very busy, and he deserves my full attention. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's still August 18th, but now it is 4:15 p.m. The previous parts, I was coming to y'all from morning Darcy. Was like maybe about 10 a.m. When I got this started. It is a billion degrees outside. It's actually, I think, like 95 right now in St. Louis. So I got a little more what is it, glistened due to the heat. But you know, it's been many more hours, so you know, you get what you get and you don't get upset. I'm back with the yarn though. So I showed y'all the plumatis that I had just finished, and now I am gonna link in a video of a project that is a whip, but it's currently inside Owen's room where he's sleeping in the closet, and I wasn't able to get it out, and it would have delayed making this happen even longer. So I'm gonna just put a video in here, and this project was a pattern that I was writing that I had knit one, and then it was pretty good, but it needed some tweaks, so I needed to make another one. And I had started the second like iteration of this pattern, and I was going on vacation in Mexico, and the Mexican TSA made me take the needles out of the project, and that just broke my heart and my spirit, and I haven't picked it back up. But now that I've worked my way through a bunch of other projects and I'm getting back started with the podcast, like I have the momentum I need to actually pick that back up. So I'm going to do that, pick it back up, and I'm going to show you what it looked like. And I'm going to continue on. But the next podcast, I'll have it in person to show you because I'll have been working on it by then. Now, I'm going to go on to my pattern dreams, my cast on dreams, and show you what I've been planning. And then I have a few things that I've purchased since the last podcast. I really haven't been buying that much yarn, and not in a like, I'm a knitter, so I buy a lot of yarn and I call it not that much yarn. I actually have probably only bought, I think, these 5 skeins that I'm going to show you. So first, this is yarn that I bought from Wild Star Fibers. Let me show you. Wild Star Fibers. And this is called Shooting Star Batch 080. So this is, I think, what yarn dyers call a yarn mop, where dyers will use like leftover dye to make one-of-a-kind yarns. So I believe that's what this is from. And I bought 3 of these. This is mohair, 72% mohair, 28% silk. And this is some 75-25 merino called Ravager's Funeral. It's actually a Avengers inspired yarn. I am not crazy about superheroes or super people, but this is a yarn that I really loved, and I bought it at a show. I believe it was at Vogue Knitting, maybe, or it's been so long ago I don't remember. But I bought 3 of them with no plan, and I really want to make another sheer V sweater by Jessie May. And I had made that sweater before, and I made it very cropped, and I made it with bell sleeves, and I would like to knit it again with kind of regular sleeves and a little bit more oversized. But I love the sheer V, and it just, the version that I made is so cropped. Like, there's definitely a time and a place for a cropped sweater, don't get me wrong, but there's more times and more places where I need to be warm, and I want this to be the sweater I can call on for that occasion. So this is a plan. I haven't wound it up yet, but I need to actually get winding. Another plan that I have is to knit another summer sorrel with this yarn that I bought at, I think, at Rhinebeck in 2021. This is from Four Hearts Farm, mainly fiber. It is mill spun yarn, 100% US traceable Sanico wool. So I got this because I was like, I never tried Sanico wool. It's very springy. And let me try and show you the ply on here. The ply is really, it's almost like really like springy, I guess is the best word I would use to describe it. But the yarn is dyed very beautifully, and I was interested in trying to, try some new breeds. Just, there's more to the world than merino. And this is very soft also. It is soft. So I was thinking to make another spring sorrel is the name of that sweater, spring sorrel. And then I have some yarn that I have been wanting to make a like oversized um, sweatshirt style sweater. And this is yarn from Fully Spun. Um, and Fully Spun, the brand is Dearly Departed. Brooke, hey Brooke, if you're out there watching. A very sweet yarn dyer who dyed absolutely beautiful yarn. She has stopped dyeing yarn and she's moved on to greener pastures. She is in school, and she actually has a GoFundMe on her Instagram if you want to go support her journey to getting getting to school and getting her supplies she needs. So I donated to that. And if you are familiar with the brand Fully Spun and you want to support, then go over to Brooke's Instagram and support. But this is a beautiful color called Spa Day that is dyed on American Merino. It is a non-superwash yarn. So I would want this to be more oversized because I am someone who puts the sweat in sweater. If it's up on my body, I'm gonna be sweating in it, especially in this postpartum, situation I got going on. There's a lot more just perspiration than I would say was normal, but I was already more sweaty, so I can't even blame it all the way on Owen. But the thing about these is, I think she was dyeing them in sets of 3. So there's 2 that look really a lot alike, like these 2, and then there's here. Let me just try and hold them all up. They're definitely gonna have to be like helical knit, because there's a lot of variation, as there always will be with hand dyed yarn, but they are just all very beautiful. So that's that. And the last thing I was thinking was to knit a pepperonia, I think that's the name, sweater by Wool and Pine, which is a bottom up knit kind of color work that starts out as like, they look like leaves or flames that go up and then they slowly disintegrate and like fade out as they go up. So I was thinking, wouldn't that be so cute if I had the main color be like a night sky, and then I had the other contrast be like a sock blank? I know. You see this? So this is a Passion Knits sock blank. And if you never knit from a sock blank before, let me tell you, they are very crunchy. And before I knit from a sock blank, I like to actually wind it onto a, what's that thing called? Nitty knotty. And I soak it in water and I dry it. I hang it to dry and I try and get all of those crimps out of it, because those crimps affect your gauge. And when you're doing color work, you just don't want any additional barriers working against you as far as the color work looking nice and it looking very smooth in the end. So I always take the sock blank apart. And here, I'll open this one up just so you can see how the colors work. Now that's gorgeous. So I probably wouldn't need all of it. I probably would only need some of it, but maybe I would cut out this middle part. Like I would just stop along here and then pick up along here, because this middle part is kind of similar in color to the, or it might look like a very nice, like, flame kind of situation, a low contrast, in the middle. Um, but yeah, I haven't decided. So these are things I'm thinking of. And then for the yarns that I have bought that don't have a plan yet, um, I'll show you. These three are from the Periwinkle Sheep, and these are skeins that benefit my friend Whitney Marie, who is going through a very messy divorce at this time. And she has a GoFundMe to raise money for her legal fees, to pay for a lawyer and all of her expenses related to that. And the Periwinkle Sheep offered to do a like collaboration color where some of the money would go to Whitney. So this is called Blooming Joy, and this is on a sport base. Since it's 100% superwash merino, there's 328 yards, and this is made in South America, hand dyed in Albany, New York. And I love this color. Even if I thought like, that's not really like the color for me, I would have still bought it, but I do actually really love it. And these little pops of purple in here, I think those are inspired. So I got 3 of those. No plan on what to make yet, but 3 sport weight is a sweater quantity for me, or they are enough to make a jumpsuit for my child. So he's not gonna get a green jumpsuit. Those are definitely for me. Got those. Whitney's GoFundMe is still available if you want to donate to that. I know a lot of people have experienced divorce and also experienced the insanity that can come from realizing the person you're married to is actually kind of a scumbag. So if you relate to that, or you just empathize, you can donate to Whitney's GoFundMe. The other yarn that I bought, and this is the most recent yarn that I bought, the yarn that has the least amount of dog hair in it. And this is from Sister Ananse Yarn. And I bought these through String Theory, a local to Naima yarn shop in Chicago. And this is called Sugar Shack. And these are actually inspired by art made by Black artists, and I love the painting Sugar Shack, and I'm gonna include what it looks like so you can see it, how similar this is, how excellent of a job Naima did recreating yarn as Sugar Shack. And then this one is called Michaela Yearwood. It has some ... so I think there might be some more to the title, but I just loved how this yarn dyed up. I don't have a relationship with the art that inspired it, but I just loved this. So I got it just because of how pretty it was. I'm trying to get you some views on here. Let's see how it looks, but it has a lot of character. It's very moody, but still really beautiful. So those are what I bought. The other thing I want to catch you up on is my reading. I have been devouring audiobooks since I have been spending a lot more time awake in life. Since having a baby, there's less time to be sleeping. So I've been listening to a lot more audiobooks, and I was about to reach in my pocket and get my phone out, but I'm recording on my phone. I have finished so far in the year 2025 already 24 books. Some of them I have read, but most of them have been audiobooks. Um, I'm gonna put the list here, and if you've read any of these books and you like them and you think you know a book that I would like, please leave a comment of that book, because at this point I'm just looking at what's available on Libby, what I could check out right now, what has been recommended by a book club or a like Good Morning America, or some of those are like busts. Like, I don't always like them, but I'll give them a try. And because I'm checking the books out from the library, it's no skin off my back to listen to the first hour and decide it's not for me. But the ones that are all on my list are ones that I finished. I'm gonna put some kind of special asterisk next to the ones that I think are like, don't miss them. I'll just give a few snippets about the ones that come to mind that I'm like, really, this was an excellent book. American Dirt is a book about a woman and her child who are trying to cross the border and get to America after some gang violence in their home country. And that book is really heartbreaking and really, I would say, compassion building, because you can know the story of, immigrants, but that book really gave me a lot more concrete examples. And it is fiction, but this stuff like that really happens. Stuff like that really happens, like what's in that book. So that was an excellent book. Really opened my eyes and my mind more to the immigrant experience of, really needing to be in a place that's not your home country for your safety. Another one that I read was Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And that book was about a woman who essentially wakes up the day before the day the book starts. And then she wakes up the day before that. And then she keeps waking up and she's the day before. And it's a weird kind of, I would guess it's science fiction because of the time travel, but it's not necessarily time travel like, let's get in a time machine. It just is happening to her. So there were so many twists and turns with that one. Wrong Place, Wrong Time was definitely a highlight of all the books that I've read so far this year on the list. Another one that was really an excellent book was Midnight Library. I loved Midnight Library, which was about a woman who is having the option to try out all these different lives that could have been her life. And that was an excellent book as well. I also read Four Seasons. Four Winds. That one is really popular, and I keep seeing it on a lot of lists. I thought it was okay. Another one that I did actually like was that is recommended on a lot of lists is Frozen River. And that one was about a woman who is a midwife, and she essentially occupies a really special place in the like colonial New England community that she's living in. And basically not all men, but it's always a man for sure, I'll say, is the moral of that book. But yeah, if you've read any of the other books and you thought they were really great, or you have a suggestion for me, leave me a comment. I am about to go check on my white chicken chili that I'm cooking that hopefully Owen will love. He's a really great eater, so I gotta make sure he has something delicious for dinner. He loves soup, so I try to always make sure I have some good protein rich soups for him. And gonna check on that, and I am gonna try to pick a project and wind up some of this yarn so I have something I can work on later this evening when he goes to sleep. And I also want to say the last time I was recording a podcast episode, the humanitarian crisis and the genocide in Gaza was kind of at the beginning. And unfortunately, on August 18th, 2025, the situation has gotten even worse. And, it really angers me so much, the political situation in America. And I'm not going to get too much into politics, but I'm going to just say, like, when you're a real friend to someone, you have to tell them when they're wrong. And that is the true hallmark of a friendship, that if you care about someone and you really want what's best for them, you will tell them when they're wrong. And America has not been a good friend to Israel. And we have not told them, girl, you're wrong. You're wrong. And especially under this Trump administration, we're doing all the bad stuff. I want to also include a link where you can donate, where we've been donating to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza for people who are literally starving. So if you don't feel like it's my place, or you don't want to hear me talk about that, then you don't have to watch this podcast. And our lives are not disconnected from the suffering of others. And I won't just let this opportunity pass me by to remark on it again, that it's happening, and that we as an international community have to do everything we can to try to save the innocents. So I'm going to leave that there. I will be back in hopefully a few weeks to do another podcast. I'll show y'all my nails. They are like about a week old, but they're doing some like glitter snake kind of situation with the black. So hopefully I'll have some more new fresh nails to show you for the next time I come with the podcast. My soup is smelling really good, and I am hoping it's going to be really delicious. I will be back to get down to the nitty-gritty with you at another time. I don't know when that will be, but if you like this episode, please like and give me the thumbs up on YouTube. It helps other people to find my podcast. And please subscribe and tell all your nitty friends about my podcast, that I'm back. And yeah, thank you for coming back or for joining me for the first time. I will talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.